From the screen to each and every airways, welcome back all of my American beauties to a brand new conversation right here on the People's Princess Podcast, the place that provides intentional and intimate conversations surely to make you feel like royalty. I am your host, which is also known as the HPIC, the head princess in charge, this generation's people princess, Amaya Kai, and I am coming to you all live from a new location in my first in-person interview. I'm very excited, and especially with me being at Fort Valley State, I want to make sure I get some Fort Valley State people. And what better way to bring this beautiful lady right here?
Hey y'all, I am Jordan Gallemore. That's it. I don't have a whole introduction, but hey y'all.
But yes, this is Jordan Gallemore. She is a rising junior at the Fort Valley State University
I'm a junior too.
Oh, she is junior.
I'm a junior.
She is junior right now. Okay.
Yeah, we getting up out of here soon.
And she is also your Miss Junior.
Yeah.
Newly crowned. For the 2024
the Miss
2025 academic year.
Hello.
And so, first question, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. I feel good. I feel like I tend to look good. How are you doing?
I'm good. I'm excited for this to be like my first interview. Like, this dope. I've always wanted to have like a space where I can go do stuff with other people, and now we got the timing is right. I'm excited.
Mm-hmm. It should be.
Today's conversation it's not really a regular interview. It's really just like a conversation between both of us. And for you all who do not know how my interview style goes, I want to make each and every interview a conversation, because at the end of the day, if you're not having a conversation with your guests, then what are you doing? At the end of the day, period, you and the guests are supposed to have a conversation. And most importantly, it stays in the room as well. So everything that is said will stay in this room, period, point in the blank. And without further ado, let's get into today's conversation with Miss Jordan. All right, so the first question is, what do you feel would be the words to describe your experience so far at Fort Valley State?
A roller coaster. A literal
That's real. That's real.
And I feel like, honestly, being at HBCU, it has like changed me and influenced me to be a better person. Like, when you're around people who are trying to do the exact same thing as you be wanting to be better. Like, you want to encourage them, you want to inspire them, you want to be a part of just like their victories. Like, you just, I don't know, like being at HBCU was like being in a family. Like, my first touring here, like my first tour here, I had came during campaign week. Everybody was so loving. Everybody was just very, like, they came up to me, spoke to me, asked my name. Maybe it was during campaign week, but like, regardless, I just love the experience and how everybody was just family. Like, we all black, baby. Let's just love each other, please.
That's real. And my next question would be, what sold you exactly on making Fort Valley State University your college?
I got the most money here.
That's real. That's why I'm here too.
Yeah, like, I just got the most money here. We're not paying nothing. No, I'm not paying nothing. Even no debt, no money on that card.
Those student loans.
Like, we're not paying none of that, baby.
And that's the craziest thing, though. A lot of people don't realize that sometimes we gotta go where the money go. And the crazy story is, I've never heard of Fort Valley State until around this time last year. And now that I'm actually here, like, it's still don't feel real. I'm at Fort Valley State. Because not even being from Georgia, it's just like, man. Because crazy thing is, I was supposed to go to Alcorn State in Lawrence, Mississippi. It's in Lawrence, Mississippi. So at first, that was like my school choice. I was so bent on it. Nobody could tell me nothing. I was going to Alcorn.
Right.
But it was so crazy because I was going through a little situation. And I was like, man, I don't even know if I'm going to school at this point. Because my last resort was going back to school home in Chicago. But then my mom was like, nah, it's an HBCU college fair. Let's go hear what they have to say. So when we went, my mom saw Fort Valley State. And she was like, let's just go see what they have to say. And then once they started talking, I was like, okay, that's cool. Not only did I get acceptance on the spot, but the scholarship that I'm on, which is the Searchlight Scholarship for anybody who is looking into going into Fort Valley State University. It's a scholarship for out-of-state students, which will allow you to pay in-state tuition. So it was one of the biggest blessings, and it was between Fort Valley State or Talladega College, which is in Talladega, Alabama. And I ended up choosing Fort Valley State.
Is Talladega HBCU?
Yeah, it's an HBCU. It's in the I think it's a SWAC division school.
What does that mean?
Where's it saying? No, because we play against Talladega.
I've never heard of Talladega.
Yeah, Talladega is in Alabama. I've only heard of them around because I used to dance in high school. So like,
period. You was like a majorette?
yeah, I used to dance in school.
Period. Why you not dancing here?
Girl, fun fact, y'all. I used to dance in high school.
Period.
Shout out to Divine Diamonds Dance Team, DD4L.
I know
every trip. But yeah, I used to dance. The reason why I didn't is because I didn't have time to come down here for tryouts and stuff. So if I would have done it, I would have.
So like, why you don't do it like this year?
Am I thinking about it? Probably. I'm probably thinking about it, but yeah.
Well, just make sure you know the people that's on that team first.
Yeah, I know some people on it so far, but I don't know. I might give it a little chance my last 2 years here, but yeah.
And make sure that's what you want to do on that
team.
Team.
That too.
Yeah.
So for us, crazy thing is we didn't really do like majorette. We did like Chicago style majorette, which is like a very different style of Southern majorette. And also we did like a lot of different styles as well. So we kind of did like a little here and there hip hop type thing. But yeah, we was very open on doing different styles and stuff like that. Okay, next thing is what made you choose your major, and also what is your major here for Valley State?
Okay, so I am a family consumer science major.
Okay.
With a minor in psychology. So my goal is to become a psychologist.
Okay.
But because I'm an 1890 scholar, you have to do it like under like the ag department. So it has to be like agriculture economics, anything agriculture. So family consumer science fell under that, and that was the closest thing to the major that I wanted to do, like what I wanted to do, like what I was getting the most credits in once I get my PhD. So like I just did one to get the money, and two to make sure I get them classes. So that's my major. That's why I'm doing it. If I could have afforded it like without like the 1890 scholarship, I would have definitely like been, my major would have been my major would have been psychology.
Okay.
Yeah.
For those who do not know, can you explain what the 1890 scholarship is?
Okay, so if you go to an 1890 school that has like a land grant, like I know Albany is one of them, Fort Valley is one of them. I'm not positive what the other ones are. So pretty much you'll fall under like two divisions. So say I had a 3.8, 3.9 in high school. So if you're above like a 3.5, you'll get over $4,000 each semester. So $8,000 in total. If you have like a below a 3.5 in high school, you'll get like say $2,000 per semester. Regardless, it helps. So you just have to do essays. I didn't have to do an interview, but you have to do a few essays, and it helps a lot. Like, $4,000 a semester, that helps a lot. I don't know about nobody else, but that covers my housing.
And that's real.
Yeah. So definitely, if you go to HBCU, apply for that 1890 scholarship.
Make sure y'all apply. And make sure that the majors that you are looking for are under that scholarship.
Right.
Please.
Get that money, baby. Get that money. Please.
So the next question would be, in terms of your freshman to sophomore year, how did you see yourself not only just grow, but along with you being the next in position for Miss Junior, tell me the exact process on what exactly made you want to run. Like, what in your mind said, okay, this is what I want to do. This is what my plan is. Just take me through that process.
Okay, so in high school, I wasn't really, like, active. Like, I was an athlete. I was the captain of my swim team. Like, I was mostly worried about work, school, and practice. That's right. So I'm talking about, I'm going to practice at 4 a.m. in the morning, and then when I get out of school, I'm going to practice at 7. We was busy. So I just really wanted to come to college and like make the best of it, be more active, like do more things, get my name out there. Like and honestly, I've been wanting to run for a position since my freshman year. Like
really?
Yeah, like my freshman year, during freshman week I ran for freshman president. I didn't win. But I ran for it. That in a way that I put my name out there, but like I had to continue to work, speak to people, communicate, connect. So that's how I got into the position that I am now. I'm happy to be in this position. I really thank God. I thank the people who supported me to be here. And what was the second part of your question?
The second part was, how did you see yourself grow from freshman to sophomore year?
My friends. Honestly. Like, no one is a bad person, but some people, like, aren't meant to be in your life at that time. You know? Like, I don't know. Like, as soon as certain people, like, left my life, I felt better. Like, I don't know. Like, stuff started to click. Stuff started to make sense. Stuff started being put in place. No shame on nobody. No shame on absolutely nobody. But, like, you know, just everybody ain't meant for everybody. That's okay.
And that's real. I feel like a lot of people don't tell about that in college because when we first get here, and I'm going to be honest, I was in that space too. Coming from a whole nother state, I was trying to, like, find people who was like me. But, of course, you're not going to find everybody like you. So, of course, you have to go find people that aren't like you to be your friends. But at the same time, you have to be cautious because everybody isn't on the same pathway. Or even in your same major. Like, some of my friends aren't even a biology major. And it's so cool, like, just seeing how all of us are together as people. And I feel like it's very important for those who are in their senior year, junior year, and even just in high school in general, to just understand that a lot of your friends can come from uncommon situations. Like, I literally met one of my friends, shout out to Seleka, by the way. I met her literally, I was walking and I saw her at the amp. Like, I just sat down and I talked to her. So, all I'm going to say is just definitely be open to meeting new people. And most importantly, don't really limit yourself to who you hang yourself around.
That is so true. Because, like, I had recently hang out with, like, not necessarily my friend group, but, like, I had hung out with different people. And I was like, I like these people. I like these people. But, yeah, don't limit yourself. Please don't limit yourself. Like, I mean, it's okay to have a friend group, but, like, speak to other people. If I don't know, if I don't like to do nothing else, I like to meet new people. I like to talk to people. I'm a talker. I am. I'm friendly.
Yeah, I am too. And my crazy thing is, I don't know why we get such a bad rep for being so friendly.
Yes. Like, now if I was just stuck up and I look mean all the time, I mean, I probably do got an RBF. A lot of people do, but
really, I don't think that.
You don't think I do?
No, I don't.
A lot of people be like, I got an RBF.
What?
I know, but yeah, it's just I'm friendly. I am friendly. Like, I would literally just go to somebody and start talking. But a lot of times that it's not it's not shown to you. You know, like you'll go to somebody and you'll be friendly, and then they may not show you the same energy, and it's just like, okay, what's next? But you gotta talk through it. It's okay. Okay. Yeah. They may think you're crazy, but it's okay.
If there is anything that you have learned in your experience here for Valley State University as a sophomore, or even as in the classification you are now, what would you say would be like the most defining experience for you?
Back to friends, man. I just feel like you gotta really be careful about who you be hanging around with. Like, you gotta be real careful. I don't know, like, and my thing is like, I don't know. I don't want nobody to consider it as messy or nothing, but
it's not. Like, this space is definitely your space to talk. And if they do see it as messy, we apologize in advance. But this is her story, and her story should not be discredited. Okay, I'm gonna start freshman year. I'm gonna just start with freshman year. Some people you're gonna be around some people that you may fall out with, and they may not have like the same potential, same drive as you. So you may like kind of distance yourself so that you could do more things. And I feel like, I'm not saying everybody, all my friends or whatnot, but I'm saying that certain people you have to step away from so that you can reach your fullest potential. Like, cause I don't know, as soon as like certain people left my life, like I just feel like I don't feel like uplifted. Like, I just feel like I was doing more. I feel like I felt better. Like, I don't know. Like, even if it wasn't like a messy friendship, like it was just like, once it was over, it was just like, okay, well, I can focus on God. I can focus on my academics. I can focus on my career. Because at the end of the day, that's why I'm here at the Fort Valley State University. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get that degree. I'm going to get that money on. Amen to that. And going back to what you said about God, how has God influenced your career at Fort Valley State?
Oh my God, don't get me started about talking about God. Oh my God.
We talk about anything.
Okay.
Here, like,
oh my God.
Anything.
God has got me through so much, y'all. Like, I'm telling you, oh my God. Like, I'm going to speak on campaign week. Campaign week, at least twice. I just literally just got to my knees and I just started crying. One, because I was overwhelmed with like what was going on. It was fizz, which is a problem, social media, and just like negative people. And like I just prayed about it, because like I feel like at the end of the day, if you can't do nothing else, you can't control every situation. You cannot. But what you can do, what you can decide to do, is just take it to God. Because you want to go vent about it to somebody else. I mean, it's okay to vent, but like you want to talk about it to somebody else or talk mad. What are we doing? Like, you're not being productive. Like, I don't know. I just feel like praying is productive. Like, I just feel so much better after praying. Like, and even after I won, like I was driving, but I was just crying. Like, I was just crying and thanking God. I was so happy. I was just happy. But yeah.
And that is honestly so real, because for those who don't know, I'm not only freshman, but I'm sophomore class secretary here at Fort Valley State. And the 2-time run is not for the weak. It is not for the weak, because everybody, you know, they see you as one way because they're so used to seeing you not really act a certain way or just apply yourself to certain situations and scenarios. I very much feel like I'm a multifaceted woman. Like, if you see my Instagram, you see me posting about me making graphics, me being, as I stated previously, a former dancer at my high school. I do makeup. I know how to cook. I know how to bake. Like, I know so much about myself, but at the same time, I don't really like to show it off to the world, because a lot of people, they feel like, okay, you've been in this position, let somebody else get it. Even though I would love to have somebody else get it, I've never had the experience of student leadership back home. Right. Crazy thing is, the reason why I feel like this is very big for me, because I ran for not only NHS secretary, but NHS social media chair for my school's chapter, and I lost twice. But the fact that I won freshman class secretary and sophomore class secretary twice, back to back, that meant a lot to me, because it shows me that I'm still able to lead. And especially, crazy thing is, I made history though, because me being from Chicago, it's not many people from my city that look like me, talk like me, carry themselves like myself, or most importantly, like I'm doing now with me having my own podcast. There's not a lot of faces like myself that are being broadcasted across everybody's screen, because we're so used to seeing people from, and no shade though, there's a lot of people from the same state that we see who are getting the reflection and stuff that they deserve. But if it's from somebody else who is not normally from here, they kind of get the backlash or the slack, because you're not seeing what you're used to. But at the end of the day, it's important to open our minds and our eyes to those who are not like us, because we never know what it means to be a blessing to those who do not look like us, or even from the situations that we are in. I don't share my story a lot because, you know, sometimes things happen at the end of the day. I'm not going to sugarcoat. I had a good life. There were some days where, you know, things happen, but at the end of the day, I know I'm not perfect, but the fact that I'm very humble and I'm very blessed to be in these positions and to make history back home, and know that, hey, I'm from Chicago. I came to a school which nobody has ever heard of a day in their life in my family, because my mom and my aunt were both HBCU graduates. So that's kind of what pushed me to being at an HBCU. But now being somewhere I've never heard of, it was hard at first, but at the end of the day, I'm making history, and there's a lot more for me to make.
Right. But like you said about like you losing 2 times and then winning 2 times, that just means like God has a time and a place for everything.
Yeah.
Like just like, say if I were to have lost, or say any position like you were to quote unquote fail. Yeah. God has a time and place for everything. Just because you feel in that position does not mean that it's never going to happen. That just means it's just not meant for you at that time. Just because the path is not in sight at the time does not mean it's not going to be there at some point. Like, you got to be optimistic and keep pushing, because failure grows people. Like, failure, it is. Like, it makes a character. Like, me losing freshman president my freshman year, like, that pushed me. Like, it didn't make me feel like, oh boy, that means I'm not gonna run for another position. Right. But it just kind of, it made me want to do more.
Yeah.
And I feel like everybody should learn from that. You gotta learn from your failures, because that's the only way you're gonna learn and grow.
Speaking about the experience of failures, what has your failures taught you in terms of the place that you are now and as the woman that you are developing to be in?
Failure has taught me just to be optimistic through it all. Like, it may not look good at the time, but like, it's something in the midst of it that's better. Like, I know, for example, I didn't do well on my speech. I did not do well on my speech. And I was in my head, when I was running for this position and we were campaigning, in my head, I was counting the full votes that I was not going to get because of my speech. But then I realized, like, it doesn't matter about the people who don't vote for you. It matters about the people who do. Like, my little sister is voting for me. Like, that makes me feel good. Like, look, nobody got to be down for me. As long as my little sister's down for me, I'm good.
That's real.
As long as my friends are down for me, I am okay. Like, I have supporters. I may not have supporters, but Barack Obama don't have supporters. Like,
and he won twice.
What?
2 times.
The first Black African American president.
Twice.
Yeah, not everybody's gonna have supporters.
Right.
Like, and that's okay. Look, a wise person once told me, shout out to JD, a dog don't bark at a parked car.
And that's just that on that.
Just let that sit how you let it sit. But a dog do not bark at a parked car. If you ain't doing nothing, a dog ain't gonna bark at you. Now, if you doing something, they gonna bark how they want to.
Yeah.
A dog don't bark at a parked car. But you just gotta be optimistic through everything. You just keep pushing. So that's what we ended up on top, and that's all right.
Right.
That's all right.
The next question is, this kind of comes from your experiences. What is the biggest misconception that you have proven throughout your tenure so far at Fort Valley State?
That I'm stuck up. Like, I feel like a lot of people think I'm stuck up. And I feel like it's because of my image. But I don't know. Like, I try never to give like a stuck up vibe. Like, I try to be humble. I try to be sweet. Like, I don't know. Like, but people are gonna assume things based off of an image or based off of what other people have told them. But like, the thing is, like, say like they have wrong assumptions about Amaya. But like, the thing is, you just gotta, if you have a conversation with people,
they'll truly get to know you.
You'll get to know them rather than hearing what somebody else says or like what you're assuming. Like, that's a problem. Like,
absolutely.
Yeah, I work every day to make sure, not necessarily because it matters what other people think, but I just try to make sure that I don't give like stuck up or just any type of negative derogatory term or characteristic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I speak to it, and I try to talk to everybody I can. I really do. I'm friendly. Like, I hate when my friends say that, but I know that I'm friendly, and that's okay.
And it's okay to be friendly,
because you don't make connections without talking to people.
In the words of a wise lady named Miss Williams, it's not about what you know, it's about who you know. And my thing is, a lot of people sometimes, especially with us being at an HBCU as small as Fort Valley State, a lot of people don't really realize that connections are all we have. In terms of not only just students, but also faculty and staff that we meet along the way. It's very important for us to acknowledge the connections that we receive, because there were many people who were on this campus who are not only just alumni, but they came back as professors. Shout out to my professor Durham, by the way, in biology. She is actually in the career that I want to do, which is occupational therapy. So I literally ended up going to her one day and just asked her what did she do in order to get into school and things of that nature. And my thing is also, with me being a freshman right now, about to go into my sophomore year next year, I feel like it's very important for people to emphasize having the right connections, because there's such things as right and wrong connections, but we don't really tend to notice that until later on in the game. And I feel like we have to recognize that now, so that at the end of the day, it goes back into testing the spirit. Because when it comes to testing the spirit, you can go meet somebody at first glance and you be like, oh, okay, they cool. But at the same time, when you go later on and you start seeing them acting weird, that's just God showing you. Sometimes the connections that we made are there for a season and a reason to show us that sometimes we need to put ourselves in the shoes of them to see, what their life is like. And also, most importantly, just be alongside like-minded people, because when you are around the right people, whether if they are in student leadership, student athletes, Greek life, whatever the case may be, because you never know if you're going to need them for something in the future.
Right. But the thing, what you said about that, like, that's why it's good to have people around you that are equally yoked. Like, not everybody has to be on the same path as you, but like, as long as they're doing something, like they're expecting you to do something. Now, if you're just sitting around smoking, drinking, and not doing your schoolwork, and you're paying what, $9,000, $10,000 to come here, but you're just doing like the same three things, I don't want to be around that. Like,
absolutely.
It's just like, because that's not building me. Like, if you're gonna have friends, you're supposed to build each other. Y'all are not supposed to stay in the exact same place that y'all were when y'all became friends. Like, y'all are supposed to be pushing each other to do more. You should never be comfortable. Right. You should never be comfortable. You should always want to do more. And I try to push my friends to do more. And if I have a friend that she's not pushing me to do more, he's not pushing me to do more, and I'm literally, they're just riding up on my back. They may not be your friend.
Yeah.
And that don't mean they're a bad person. That just means that they're not in the season that you're in. Just saying.
And that's real. I feel like we don't really testify about the seasons that we're in because, and I'm being really honest, I feel like with me being in college and me rededicating my life to Christ as I did previously in 2023, I've noticed that sometimes there are a lot of people who are in the Christian community and they tend to illustrate the good side of Christianity. Right. So like when you're in that first season and you just see them, they're on fire for God, like they're having an amazing time, but people don't tend to testify about the situations that they went through, which caused them to go through depression, anxiety, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, people don't realize that sometimes, and I'm going to be really honest, sometimes just prayer does not solve all the problems. And I'm being brutally honest. Like me being on campus, I had to teach myself during spring semester how to fast. I taught myself how to just only listen to worship music and things of that nature, because at the end of the day, if I'm not applying myself spiritually, because what I've learned is that our bodies are very temporary, but in those host bodies we have our souls. And even though we have free will, it is in the free will that is given to us to express what our souls really want. So with that soul, I ended up doing some soul searching, especially with me being so young and as a freshman, I had to, ask God, like, God, what do you want me to do? And I started seeing myself fasting, whether if it was a fruits and vegetable fast, whether it was a fast from social media, fast from people, fast from anything, because crazy thing is, it's okay to fast in college. It's just, you don't have to do, the fast that everybody else is doing, because what we don't know is that every single fast that people may talk about on social media or even in the Christian community may not be for everybody. And honestly, that is truly okay, because everybody's relationship with God is very different from each other. And it's very important that us as college students start expressing that, because we don't really see that many college students, especially at HBCU, sharing about the spiritual experience, but on a deeper level, because there's only such a surface that we scratched on, and that only surface is just, prayer and just being in a certain place. But when there's more to that, sometimes you can go hold your friend accountable in a fast and say, hey, I'm going to hold you accountable. That's why it's very important to make those meaningful connections, because you have to start making a list and ask God, okay, what do you think I should have in a friend? And that's the craziest thing, because I started asking God in this season that I'm in now, respectively. I said, God, what do you want me to have in this season? And what he had me write down was, I wanted people in my life who knew how to fast and pray. I wanted people who knew how to pray for me in the spiritual. I wanted to have somebody who could pray on my behalf, and I don't even have to tell them. And that's a very big thing, because sometimes with us being either friends or family, we have to be able to go into the spiritual realm and in those secret places and pray over our people, even without others telling them to. Like if God drops something in your mind, whether if that's a person, a thing, or just something that you want in life, you have to not only just do the simple go after it, but you have to go after it spiritually for it to manifest properly.
Right. Personally, for me, I tried like the fasting with food thing. Every single time I forgot.
I did too, and that's okay. And that is right. Okay.
But I did last year. I went through something. Very traumatic for me. But I ended up like doing a hiatus from like social media. So I ended up doing all social media, like every single platform besides TikTok. I deleted it, and I just took that moment. Like it was probably like over 3 months. I wasn't on social media. I was just posting something that if I needed to post it. So I was a brand ambassador for this girl. So like I would post like one thing for her, like promoting her brand. But besides that, I wouldn't post. But like I took that time to like just pray, like honestly, because I wasn't in the best place like mentally. So I was just praying. I was going to church. I isolated myself. Like I isolated myself, but at the end of the day, I wasn't alone because I was with God. Like I was praying. I was like reading my Bible. I was genuinely trying to get closer with God. Now that was the end of last year. To this day, beginning of 2024, I'm still trying to get closer with God. But I feel like that time that I took to step away from social media, step away from people, I was able to just like I found comfort in like just talking to him. Like sometimes when I'm in a bad mood, I just go pray. Like something upsets me, I turn on some gospel music because you really have to be comfortable with being by yourself, because not every single, like you don't always need to be with people. Like at the end of the day, regardless of where you go, everybody can't be with you at all times, but you know who can be with you at all times? God. So it's just like sometimes you just gotta find comfort in him in isolation. Like, and I feel like that hiatus helped me with being comfortable with being around him, talking to him, and just like it grew me, honestly. Like I'm to the point where it's like I'll have like miscommunications with people, but at the end of the day, like once I'm done with that conversation, I'm gonna still go pray for them, because you can't control what nobody else do, but you control what you do. Like you could go pray for them, because at the end of the day, y'all are 2 different individuals. Can't nobody do that. You can't convince them of anything. You can't make them change. You can't do nothing, but you can pray. Absolutely. Nobody can control anybody but God. Like it's like when I be looking at certain individuals and I realize like they're not praying, I'm like, because I feel like people that pray and people that are like trying to get close with God, they're blessed. Like they're genuinely blessed. Like the people who are having like these different issues, I'm just like, pray. Like I mean that's not always the answer, but it's just like, I don't know. Like maybe it's personally for me, I feel better about praying, but I tell people all the time, just pray about it. Like it's just it's nothing else you could do.
Crazy thing is, you talk about that, and there is a verse in the Bible. I don't know exactly what it is, but it says something about the Lord is close to those who are brokenhearted in the spirit. And I don't know why that just dropped on me, but I just feel like I had to say that.
Right.
Because crazy thing is, I talked about this in one episode I did. For those who did not listen to the HBCU State of the Union episode, I heavily suggest you listen to that, because sometimes in college we only hear about the good experiences, especially with us being HBCU students. At all 108 and growing HBCUs, we always hear what exactly is the HBCU experience, and that's just being around how people are being targeted. You hear about, the people that you put yourself around, whether if it's from your classification or even above those. And also, just most importantly, you see so many Black people, but at the same time, a lot of us, we all have a common struggle, which is trying to make it. Because, of course, us as young African Americans, we're already being pitted against. Whether if that's in the content industry, educationally, physically, mentally, spiritually, because it's always something on social media. And especially with these HBCU social media pages, we always see certain HBCUs being targeted besides the small ones. And it's always just very important for us to open up bigger conversations like how this one is now to those who are not in those of the Division I, NCAA, the SWAC division, or just those big name schools that you always hear about, because at the end of the day, you never know what these schools can offer. Especially with Fort Valley State, I didn't know they could offer, what they have for me so far. I didn't know that student leadership was even in me, period, because I've never seen myself as that leader. I've always seen myself working hard behind the scenes and people discover my talent later. But at the end of the day, that was what kind of pushed me to being so far in student leadership now, because being, like I said previously, so far away from home and not having the spaces that were very much needed for me, I wanted to make my own spaces. And what I've realized is that sometimes God does not want me to be multi-purposeful. And that was the craziest thing, as I spoke about that in another episode, Taylor Making the Missing Rooms. I spoke about that because I kind of brought it back to myself, where at college, I was like, I need to do everything. Whether that was apply myself in SGA, another club, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, you might not be ready for that point in your life yet, because you have to be able to establish a common ground between you and God before He even progresses you, which is why I feel like the reason why I was able to step out in faith. And the crazy thing is, God wants us to be delusional. And I'm being brutally honest, because sometimes we always talk about that faith is a mustard seed, but sometimes God wants us to be delusional in that mustard seed faith, because He wants you to think outside of what you can think about, because He's going to do exceedingly abundantly and even above our imaginations. But at the same time, He's waiting for us to give Him that, yes, God, I trust you. Let me be delusional. Let me go out the box. Because what I've learned about God, especially in college today, God is an out of the box God. Like, even though He might not give you something that you've thought about, He's going to say, hold on, let me place something else in your mind. And I feel like it's very important for us as college students to start actually sharing more about the struggles and how we actually built ourselves up from that, because at the end of the day, there is no progress without struggle.
Amen. Amen. And honestly, that just speaks to the fact, like you saying that, like, it's not meant for, okay. So my first, like I said, I ran for freshman president, but I didn't win.
Right.
Because I wasn't ready. God knew that. I may not have thought that, but God knew that. My freshman year, I had a lot of ups and downs. I was not prepared for that, but I feel like once I took my hiatus, and it honestly, like, running for the position that I'm in now, like, put it in that tent form, I almost didn't do it. Like, I think I put it in like the day before, because like I was just questioning myself. And honestly, I was just praying. Like, I was thinking to myself, like, is it the time for this? Like, am I right for this? Am I ready? Am I prepared?
Right.
Like, I was praying. But then I look back at my vision board that I've had for years, and I saw, like, me, not even me, but like a crown.
Wow.
Yes, and I was just like, you know what? Let's do it. And you just really have to put yourself out there. Like, you can't be scared. Even if you do fail, it's okay. Because like you said, like what you said, without failure or something.
Without failure, there's no progress.
Right. You're not gonna make progress. And I'm just so happy that I put it in that tent form. Yeah. Because I wouldn't be in a position and be able to be exposed to who I'm going to be exposed to next year. And I'm just happy that I stepped out of my comfort zone to do it. And I just encourage all HBCU students to do so, African Americans. Get out of your comfort zone. Yeah. Like, you should never feel comfortable. Like, if you're comfortable, you're not doing something right.
Right.
You should always push yourself to do more. You should always push your friends to do more. Because not only when you're pushing yourself to do more, you're encouraging others to do more. And a part of this HBCU family, we have to continue to encourage everybody. Like, it shouldn't be, like, for example, like, our SGA president, I look at her, and even our vice president, I look at her and I'm just like, wow, like, this is what I want to do. Maybe not in that specific position, but I just want to lead. Like, I want to encourage people. I want to inspire people and look good while doing it. Like, our SGA look good while doing it.
Hello. They do. They do. And my next question is, going back to that process of campaigning, was there another theme that you wanted to do?
Nah.
Really?
No. Literally,
Way.
when I put that intent form, February 5th, that night, I worked on a lot.
Really?
Like those few weeks, like I had a lot prepared before campaigning, so I was prepared. But yeah, I want to do the Fresh Princess. I wanted to do it so badly. I can't even imagine me doing anything else. And I just love how everybody referred to me as the Fresh Princess. I just love that during campaign week. Like it just, I don't know.
You know what's crazy? I actually did have a couple things.
Really?
I had a couple. The Genie. So one of my favorite shows is I Dream of Jeannie. Mm-hmm. Like I was watching it at home, and I still watch it now. But the other themes I would have done were either Jumanji. Jumanji is like one of the hardest movies I've ever seen. And
the recent one?
No, like the original one.
Really?
The original one with Robin Williams. I think it came out in the 90s.
Yeah.
I used to love Jumanji as a kid. Like, I remember seeing it in 3rd grade. I used to love that movie and the book all the time. Like, if I seen Jumanji, I wanted to watch it. But as I grew up, I was like, Jumanji would be a hard theme because we did Coming to America for Clear. So I wanted to go along the lines of something that's never been done before. So while I was planning it, I had Jumanji. I wanted to do, I think Mean Girls was on the list. But there was another movie I had, though. I was going to do Miss Congeniality, too.
Period.
I did want to do that. Wait, I have the list of what it was.
It was literally just Fresh Princess for me. Because before like I ran for the position, I wanted to make a brand, like a clothing brand, and it was gonna be fresh. And the definition of fresh, I forgot what the definition of fresh was, but like I just kind of added on to fresh, Fresh Princess. I feel like it was a cute thing. I didn't really have anything else cute.
That is
nothing in mind, but it just stuck with me.
Yeah, definitely. If I did not do 1895 Wishes, I would have done either Jumanji, Mean Girls, Miss Congeniality, or there was another movie, I forgot what it was. But for me, I really wanted to go so out the box because everybody always knew me for being so creative and most importantly, somebody who doesn't like to stay inside of one box because I feel like I apply myself so much, and I thank God for allowing my parents to instill in me such innovation. That's why I say innovative and highly creative city of Chicago, because growing up, my parents was like, we want you to be different. We want you to have, a different mindset. So when I was thinking, especially with me now being in a position, I want to do so much more different. Like, I see myself doing a live episode of my podcast, like sitting in front and having like different people from positions. Even one day, like I want to do different people from HBCUs. Shout out to Marquand from Southern University. I love you. We actually did an interview and he was a part of the cheer program, but I really want to start doing a thing where I talk to different people from HBCUs, whether they're in a student athlete position, student leadership, Greek life, whatever it may be, because a lot of us as HBCU students are so multifaceted, and I feel like we have to start in our communities, and most importantly, just started creating our own platforms. Like, and I'm being real honest, I feel like my podcast could really be a bigger platform for HBCU students and also PWI students. Because there are some people who have not only transferred from the PWI to HBCU, but reverse as well. Because we are very more diverse and versatile than what we think. And I feel like it's very important, especially starting here with Fort Valley State University being the first to create such a big thing like this and keep it going.
Right, I get that. I definitely agree. But honestly, how you said about HBCUs and PWIs, I feel like all universities have their own issues, though.
Yeah, definitely.
And I feel like they try to like downplay like an HBCU.
Yeah, absolutely.
The issue, like, for example, they'll talk about, say, at Fort Valley. Well, Fort Valley don't have this, Fort Valley don't have that. But if you go to Spelman paying $40,000, it's like in tuition, y'all don't have it either.
We sorry, Spelmanites.
We love y'all.
We love y'all so much. HBCU unity, don't cancel us, but we being real.
I'm just saying in general, like any HBCU, even Howard, like Howard does not have everything. Every university is gonna lack something. Even the PWIs. Kennesaw has the best food I've ever had, but if you go to a university, they have issues as well.
Right.
It's not just at HBCUs. So I just had to touch on that.
And that's real. We don't shed no shade. This is not a shady thing. Mm-hmm. We're just giving y'all a real perspective because HBCUs and PWIs alike, and even trade schools as well. We don't talk about that pipeline, but at the same time, a lot of these things we tend to talk about aren't being expressed because it's not normal.
Right. But I definitely feel like every university has their issues.
Absolutely.
Every single one of them.
Absolutely.
It's not just Fort Valley. It's not just Clarkland. Not just Spelman. It's not just Howard.
It's not just Morehouse.
It's not. Any university that you go to, you're gonna have at least one issue. Like it's too many of y'all not to have at least one issue. It's just you gotta pick where you prefer.
Right.
That's it. That's all. It's either you're gonna like not having housing, or you're gonna prefer to be just a number in the classroom. But you gotta pick that. That's okay. That's your choice, though.
Right. Mm-hmm. Next question is, what's next for Jordan? What do you see yourself doing?
Be the best Miss Junior that I can possibly be, and that's just not representing like it's. Being on Royal Court doesn't just mean like, oh, you're the face, this, that, and the third. No, it also means representing. It also means inspiring, encouraging others to be successful. Fresh Princess is not just, oh, she's fresh. She's the Fresh Princess. Fresh stands for fueling and raising everyone to strive higher. And I plan to not only stand on that during campaign season, but when I have my reign. Like, I want to have, like, different events. Like, I know that I want to encourage my class, because I feel like with my class, we lack wanting to be in leadership positions and wanting to do more. Like, my class is very comfortable. Like, we're very comfortable. Like, I don't know how else to explain it, but I feel like we're very comfortable. And I just want to push people to, like, want to come out. Like, get out your room. Like, go to an event. Meet new people. Like, it's always, if it ain't Saturday at the Playhouses, they not coming outside. And I feel like that's an issue. Like, I don't know. I just feel like you're going to get more out of going to an event for school rather than going to Playhouse on the weekend. I mean, that's fun. Like, you can do that now. Because one thing about me, I'm a turn-up. I'm a college student at the end of the day. But you also have to want to build yourself. You're not you going to Playhouse every weekend, but it's okay that you go to Playhouse every weekend. But you going to Playhouse every weekend, but not being active and then complaining about like what's going on around you. You can't for those who continue to complain about things that's happening around them, but don't choose not to do anything to make it better. I don't know. I just don't like stuff like that. So I want to encourage my class, not even just my class, but everybody just to do better. Like, because as a generation, as African Americans, as a race, we can do better. Like,
yeah, absolutely. And the last question is, there's gonna be a good one. What do you have in store in terms of your reign?
Okay. So, honestly, I want to encourage everybody and kind of open people's eyes to, like, more opportunities, internships. Like, not only should we get emails about, like, internships, I want more people to come here talk to us. Like, say, for careers, like, if you have a career and it's, like, out of the box, I want someone to be able to come speak to us about it. But my only thing is, if I have an event like that, I feel like I would lack, like, people coming. So, I don't know. Like, I just really want to encourage people to be more active.
Right.
And also encourage them to do more once they're out of college. Like, and be more well-versed in what they can do. It's not, you don't have to be stuck with what you came here for. Right. You can do other things. Like, this is a big, wide world. It's so many different things that we can do with our majors. Like, I just want to have more scholarship opportunities, internships, anything in general, more, just more, because I feel like that's important.
And as we wrap this up, this is definitely just a chunk of the conversation. I definitely want to, do a part 2 and do more about this because I feel like it's very important. But also with us being in the student leadership, people don't really see the side of us. They don't really see the side of us talking and most importantly, just getting other things out like this. And I feel like with us being in the era now where social media not only just aids, but